Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, so we had started unit number 6, and I think many points we have covered. I think only 2 points are remain now from unit number 6. That is first point, that is static force analysis of slider clamp mechanism, and the very last point, that is dynamic force analysis of slider clamp mechanism. So that part is remained. So what we'll do, we'll try to cover both in a single go. Okay, so we'll start with dynamic force analysis. You will easily understand the static force analysis too, because on the basis of static force analysis only we are going to do dynamic force analysis. Once you understand which forces are there in the analysis, then so once you understand the static, then we're going to learn the dynamics of all the forces which are present in the system, like that. And in your syllabus it is given that we have to learn static and dynamic force analysis of single slider clamp mechanism, that is given. Okay, because that is very very basic mechanism. Once you understand the analysis of single slider clamp mechanism, you can apply it for any other kind of the mechanisms which we use in the engineering applications. Okay, so that's why it has really great importance to slider clamp mechanism. Okay, so in the last lectures, now we'll quickly revise what points we have covered in the last lectures. In last lectures, I think 3 lectures, we have seen simple pendulum, compound pendulum, then bifilar suspension method, trifilar suspension method, correction couple that we have seen. Okay, we have seen 2 methods of correction couple: analytical method and graphical method. In analytical method, we find M1 and M2, L1 and L2. Okay, this is nothing but your dynamical equivalent system. Okay, when you find M1, M2, and L1, L2. Okay, but sometimes it is not possible that these two masses we can keep at those distances L1 and L2 to make the system dynamically equivalent. In that case, we will put the masses arbitrarily anywhere in the system, and then we'll find out the effect of that if it is nothing but the correction couple. Okay, and once you calculate the correction couple, apply the correction couple in the opposite direction. That also we have seen. Then we have solved some problems also on correction couple. So these points were covered in the last few lectures. Okay, now the next point that we are going to discuss today. So I'm going to share my screen over here. Okay, so again, dynamic force analysis, that is last part of unit number 6. Okay, so dynamic force analysis of slider clamp mechanism, right? So, okay, so we'll start with this. Which forces are there in the single slider crank mechanism? Okay, so you can see this figure. This figure is very simple. You know, it is of a slider crank mechanism. Here, this is the piston. Okay, this is the piston, and then this piston can move to and fro along. You can see this line, center line. Okay, so this is line of stroke of the piston. This is the crank center, or you can say the bearing on which the crank is mounted. Okay, and this crank, let us say it is moving or rotating in the clockwise direction. Let us assume. So making an angle of theta. Okay, with inner dead center IDC. Right. Let us consider that this angle is phi. Okay, another angle. So there is a relation between theta and phi that we are going to see. Okay, which forces are there in this system, that we have to understand first. Okay, so very initially, okay, so just to understand the operation of this single slider crank mechanism, we can see how the motion of this piston takes place in IC engine. Okay, we know in IC engine what happens. The chemical energy, okay, in which system the chemical energy stored in the fuel, okay, like your diesel or petrol, right? So that chemical energy of the say petrol or diesel is converted into heat energy, and then that heat energy is converted to mechanical energy, right? Let us say your spark plug is there for petrol engine. Okay, and say walls. So petrol comes inside this portion, and then because of the spark, what happens? huge amount of heat is generated, and because of that heat, what happens, the expansion, and due to that expansion, piston starts moving to and fro continuously, so thereby revolving this crank around the bearing. Okay, this bearing. Okay, so which forces are there? So we can see the first force is piston force. Okay, let us assume it as FP. FP is a piston force. Okay, this is very first force, so remember this force now. Okay, now when this force is applied over here, what happens, then some part of this force will go here, right? Some part will go here, that is, some part will go along the connecting rod. This is called as connecting rod. Let us say that force is Fq. Okay, Fq is that force which is going in the connecting rod. Okay, one force will be here. Okay, which is acting. See, when the piston is moving to and fro, what will happen, it will also exert force on the cylinder walls, right? So this is cylinder wall. Okay, or cylinder bore. Okay, so this will exert force here also. So this is your, let us say this is your thrust force or normal force, normal to the cylinder walls, let us say Fn. Okay, so which forces we have seen now? Okay, Fp is the piston force which is along the piston stroke. Okay, second force we have seen, some part of this force will go in the connecting rod, that is Fq, and some part will go in the Fn. Okay, so when this piston is moving to and fro, it means that it is a reciprocating part, right? So reciprocating parts, it means that it must have the mass also. Okay, and this is accelerating. So when a mass is accelerating, then it possesses the inertia force. Okay, always remember, when a mass is reciprocating along a certain line, okay, so mass is there, reciprocating is there, so then it will definitely possess the inertia force. So let us assume that inertia force is here. Obviously it will be along the line of stroke. Let us say that is Fi. Fi is the inertia force. Okay, so now what is direction of inertia force? You can see when the piston is moving from, let us say, from this center to this center, that is from left to right, then inertia force must be here. It is in opposite direction because inertia is opposing the acceleration. Okay, in case of IC engine, what happens, sometimes Fi opposes and sometimes Fi helps to reciprocate the parts. So we'll see how. Okay, so you must have understood these forces now. Fp, piston force; Fn, normal force. Okay, some part of Fe will go here, some part of Fp will go here, Fq, and Fi is equal and opposite to this Fp. Okay, now this Fq is going along the connecting rod. Okay, now again, when this Fq will go along the connecting rod, again some part of this Fq, some part of this Fq will go along the crank. Okay, some part will go along the crank. Let us say that force is Fb. So why the name is Fb? Because we referred it as the bearing force. Okay, because this force is going on the, you can see here, bearing is there now. So some part of this Fq force will go along the crank, and that is your Fb, that is bearing force, force on bearing. Okay, so bearing has to take this force. When you are designing the bearing, we have to take care of weight of crank and this force as well. Okay, so that is the importance of analysis, okay, or dynamic analysis in single slider crank mechanism. We have to find out these forces in designing these particular links. Okay, now what will happen, so one part is going along Fb, so what is the remaining part will go of this Fq. Okay, Fq is, see, Fq is in this direction, right? Fq is in this direction, but now just we have seen that some part of this Fq is going along the crank, and remaining part, obviously, if you see, um, let us assume that this is one of the component of this Fq. Okay, if you assume that Fb is one of the components, every force can possess two components, two perpendicular components. Okay, so if you assume that this is one of the components, then obvious second component will be perpendicular to this crank. Okay, so this is perpendicular, right? So it means that the remaining part will go in this particular direction, that is perpendicular to the crank. Okay, let us say that force is Ft. So why this is called as Ft? Because this is referred to be the traction force. Okay, traction force, Ft, right? Okay, so we have now seen that this FQ, which was a part of FP, now it is again divided into two parts, that is FT and FB. Okay, so if you see, this angle is theta and this angle is phi. Now this is 90 degree. Okay, this is
Means
90 degree.
action force.
Hello.
Action force.
Okay, we are going to define every force in the system, okay, one by one, right? So then you will get your doubt clear, okay, there in the next slides, next few slides we are going to discuss every force in this system. So just now remember, FT is a traction force. Now FB is the bearing force, FQ is the force along the connecting rod, FN is a normal force, normal to the wall, cylinder walls, FP is the piston force. Okay, so we'll now discuss each and every force, right, in the coming slides. Okay, so we'll see next. So here you can see now this particular, already we have drawn this figure, FP, this is the piston, this phi angle, FN angle is there, FQ. Okay, so same FV will be here, but now we have referred it as Fi, that is inertia force. Okay, so this is the weight, actually weight is also there, which must be equal to Fn. Same amount of force will be exerted on the cylinder walls, that is also the part of this Fp. So Fq, okay, Ft we have seen, this is the Fb, again same force we can shown over here also, because say this is vector diagram. Okay, so we can mention this Fb here also, okay, whatever. And this is FQ. So already we had seen in the last slide, FB is in this direction. This is divided into two, FB and FT. Okay. Now what about this angle? So this angle is theta. So obviously when you draw a perpendicular from this O line, so we'll see this is 90 minus theta. Then this is obviously it will become 90 minus phi. This will become, then this is theta plus phi. Okay, and the remaining is 90 minus theta plus. So this is part of geometry. Okay, you can see that. Now let us assume that Mr is the mass of reciprocating parts in the piston. Mr is the mass. Reciprocating parts means only now piston. Okay, in this case. Then Wr is the weight. So weight is equal to m into acceleration. Okay, maybe due to gravity also. Mr into g or Mr into a. Okay, so acceleration of the reciprocating parts, therefore it is equal to Ar. Okay, Ar. Now in the static force analysis, actually we have not covered that this particular part. Okay, so we'll see this part also, but just remember for this instance that reciprocal acceleration of reciprocating parts Ar, or is also called as AP, that is acceleration of reciprocating or piston. Okay, so remember this formula, omega square into R, okay, into cos theta. This is very useful formula, cos theta plus cos 2 theta upon n. Okay, so here what is n? N is nothing but the obliquity ratio. Okay, n is called as obliquity ratio. Obliquity, QUITY, obliquity ratio. So obliquity ratio means what? It is the ratio of n equal to L by R. L means length of connecting rod upon R. R is nothing but the radius of crank. Already this we have seen in the unit number 2. N is equal to L by R. We have, I think, seen this formula also in unit number 2 for some part in acceleration analysis. Okay, n equal to L by R. So remember this now, n equal to L by R, that we know, and AR equal to omega square R in bracket cos theta plus cos 2 theta upon S. Okay, so therefore accelerating force or inertia force, because both are equal and opposite, accelerating force will be equal to A M into A, na? F equal to M into A. Okay, so you can see here F equal to M into A. So it may be your FP or FI. Now first of all we'll see Fi. Okay, exactly. Fi will be exactly equal to this, but Fp will not be exactly equal to. We'll see why. Okay, so Fi will be equal to m into a. So mr into ar. So just multiply this equation, that is acceleration, with m. So we'll get this equation for Fi. Okay, that is inertia force. Inertia force is present here. Okay, inertia force is present over here. Fi. Okay. So now we'll define each and every force. Okay, from this. onwards. So first of all, FP. FP is nothing but the piston effort. Okay, you can see here piston effort. Now what is piston effort? So effort on the piston due to some conversion of energies. That is nothing but your FP. That is piston force. Okay, or piston effort. Okay. So what happens here? We can see piston force is present over here. Some part will go FQ. If you see, FP is also divided into two parts. You can see uh, first is you can see here sorry not FP, you can see FQ about this FQ. Now if suppose if you consider this FQ force is at a certain angle here, so this angle is also phi. Okay, this angle is also phi. If it is particular force FQ, we can see that this FQ is now dividing into two parts or two components, two perpendicular components. Okay, if you see this force, one is Fn and second one is FP. Okay, if you consider this way, okay, let us assume that FQ is the original force now along the connecting rod. Then we can see this FQ now is divided into two components. One is Fn and second one is Fp. Okay, two perpendicular components, right? So therefore, then we can write the equation on the basis of this assumption. Fp is equal to Fq cos phi. Okay, so see, you can see that two components, one is cos component, one is sin component. Fn will be equal to Fq sin phi and Fp equal to Fq sin phi. Okay, so on the basis of that, then we can write the equation for this Fp. Okay, so just before that, Fp, what is Fp? Net load on the piston plus minus inertia force. Okay, so that is the difference between Fi and Fp. So in the last slide we have seen that this is only Fi. So there is small difference already I mentioned there. There is small difference. So difference is that you can see if you consider this Fp, it is equal to inertia force if you don't consider net load on the piston. And if you don't consider inertia force, then Fp is equal to net load on the piston. Now what is net load? Okay, so understand it. Net load. Net load means what? You can see, let us say this is your cylinder. Okay, sorry. Okay, so let us consider that this is the cylinder and this is the piston which is reciprocating inside. Okay, and on this side connecting rod is there. So can you tell me on which side the pressure will be more? On which side the pressure will be more? Let us say this is side 1 and this is side 2. On which side pressure will be more? We can see pressure on this side must be more. Why? Because area here is more. You can see area here is more. Okay, and here area is less. Why? You can see the area on this side, that is on the crank, this is called as crank side and this is called as piston side. Okay, so area on the crank side is less. Why? Because see the available area is equal to area of this bore, right, cross sectional area of this bore minus area of this connecting rod. Okay, but on this side the entire area of the bore is or can be considered to find out this pressure. Okay, so that's why the area is difference. There is a area difference. Okay, so therefore the net load on the piston, okay, net load on the piston is equal to pressure over here minus pressure over here. Okay, because both the sides pressure are there. Okay, so obviously pressure over here is more than pressure over here. So difference between these two, pressure here minus pressure here, let us say this is P1, this is P2, that must be equal to the pressure on the piston or net load on the piston. Okay, and if you consider inertia force, then plus or minus inertia force. Okay, so therefore Fp equal to Fl plus Fi, neglecting frictional force. Okay, again friction force is also there. If you consider frictional force, obviously that will be neglected or sorry deducted from the equation. So friction force is available over here between this piston wall and piston rings. Okay, here piston rings are available. Okay, so therefore Fp will be equal to Fl, that is net load, plus minus Fi. Now why plus and minus? Why not only minus? Okay, we'll see that also. First of all, we'll see the next equation also. When you consider the frictional resistance, then Fl plus minus Fi, and Fr is always minus because this is the force which is always opposing. Okay, always opposing the effort because this is the resistance force that is due to the friction. So why plus and minus? So understanding this concept is very important. Why plus and minus? Sometimes it is plus, sometimes it is minus. So when it is plus and when it is minus, you can see when the piston is moving from top dead center to bottom dead center. Okay, when it is moving from TDC to BDC, what happens? The piston is accelerating. Okay, piston is accelerating. So it means that when the piston is accelerating, it means that it is trying to overcome the forces. Okay, which forces? Fr as well as Fi. In that case, it means that you can say during acceleration, the equation will be equal to Fp will be equal to, okay, we can write here during acceleration. Okay, during acceleration, Fp will be equal to this Fl minus Fi. Okay, instead of plus, it will be Fi minus Fi, and minus Fr is always there, minus Fr when you consider this force also. So during acceleration, it must be minus. And during retardation, so when it is moving from here, from BDC, sorry, yes, BDC, this is BDC. From BDC to TDC, what happens? Now it is retarding. Retarding means what? It want to decrease its speed. Okay, when it is moving from here to here. But due to this inertia, it will move forward. It means that when the piston is moving from BDC to TDC, Fi is helping. Okay, so it means that during deceleration or retardation, okay, Fp is equals to Fl plus. Okay, so only difference is that here it is F plus Fi, and the remaining part is same, minus Fr is here. Okay, so you try to understand this thing. Okay, during acceleration, the Fi is in the opposite direction. Okay, but during deceleration, Fi will be in the same direction. It is helping the piston to move. Okay, reverse. So now this is the concept. That's why plus minus sign is here, and Fr is always minus because that is the resistance force. Okay, so therefore what will happen then next? Therefore you will get, okay, so already we have discussed this part of pressure difference on both the sides, that is net load. Okay, this is also already we have discussed. Fl is equal to pressure on one side minus pressure on second side. So we can see that the force, 1 minute. Okay, Fl Fl, which actually we are considering here, that is net load, is equal to pressure on this side or force. Okay, due to this pressure P1, see this P1 into cross section area A1, that is the load. So P1 A1 minus P2 A2, that is from the other side. Obviously A2 will be equal to this entire A1 minus this, let us say this small a. Okay, okay. So P2 A2. So P1 A1 minus P2. And now what is A2? A2 is here. This is the A2 remaining area. Okay. So A2 is equal to this A1 minus this small a. So that's why this is the equation. Okay. Then, okay. So I have mentioned over here P1 and A1. What is that? Pressure and cross sectional area on the back side or on the piston side. P2 A2 is on the crank side. Okay. So A is a cross sectional area of piston rod. So already I mentioned that here piston rod. Okay. A is a cross sectional area of piston rod. So therefore, okay, sorry, I think one equation is not mentioned here. Okay, we'll say that also. Okay, so therefore finally what happens, then this Fp will be equal to, so I must mention that here also, Fp is equal to Fl, that already we come to know. Fl is equal to this equation plus minus Fi. What is Fi? Fi equal to, in the last slide we have seen that this is your Fi. Okay, and what is Fr? Fr is a frictional force. Okay, we can easily find out frictional force, mu into Rn, normal reaction once you get. Okay, so therefore this is the Fp. So this is called as piston effort. I think you must be understanding what is piston effort now. So piston effort is the force along the piston. Okay, so some some forces are in the opposite side of this Fp, and some are helping the Fp. Okay, so this is the final equation. considering frictional resistance. If you don't consider that, then it must be only FL plus F plus minus Fi. Okay. So next is force along the connecting rod. Okay. Force acting on connecting rod. So that is FQ. Okay. Now what is FQ? Already we have mentioned the equation for that. You know, FP is equal to F cube cos phi. That already we mentioned that if you consider or if you assume that this FQ is divided into two components, perpendicular components. One will be, let us say, Fn and second will be Fp. So Fn will be equal to Fq sine phi and Fp is equal to Fq cos phi. Okay. So Fq cos phi. See this, Fq cos phi equal to Fp. So therefore Fq will be equal to Fp upon cos phi. Okay, so this was our assumption. So that's why actually we are able to write this equation. Fk is equal to Fp cos phi. Okay, so in the previous slide we have seen the equation for Fp. So from Fp, from that equation we can easily find out the value of Fp. Okay, once you find out that value there, we can find out Fq. Okay, because we know this equation Fp upon cos phi. But what about this phi? Phi is unknown. Okay, so then can you find out or can you relate the phi with some known parameter? So here known parameter, angle parameter is theta. So can you convert this phi into theta? Yes, we have one simple equation. Okay, either you can check this equation or this equation, sine phi or this cos phi. So cos phi equal to under root of 1 minus sine square theta upon n square, or sine phi equal to sine theta upon n. So this is very simple relation between theta and phi. We can easily obtain this, okay, using geometry. Okay, we can relate these two. So sine, or you can use sine rule, cosine rule that way. Okay, so sine phi equal to sine theta upon n. You know, n is obligatory ratio L by R. So theta. Okay. So remember this formula. So already we know we have discussed this, but just remember this formula. Simple formula: sine phi equal to sine theta upon n. Okay. So this is about the force along the connecting rod. Okay, Fq. Now next force, that is a thrust on the sides of cylinder walls or normal reaction on the guide bars, that is Fn. Okay, so now we have seen Fp, now we have seen Fq, we have seen Fi. Now next is Fn. So what is this Fn? So already I mentioned that Fn is the one of the components of Fq. Once you get the Fq, then we can easily find out Fn. What is Fn now? Fn is equals to what? Fq sine phi. Okay, Fq sine phi, second component. Okay, you can see here Fn equal to Fq sine phi, right? So Fq, you know, Fq is nothing but Fp upon cos phi. Okay, in the previous equation that we have seen. So Fq equal to Fp upon cos phi. So Fp upon cos phi into this sine phi. So sine phi upon cos phi is tan phi. So therefore we'll get final equation Fn equal to Fp tan phi. So therefore it becomes simple to remember this equation. So Fn, finally we get, that is normal force, that is normal force acting on the cylinder walls, is equal to Fp tan phi. So we need these forces to design the cylinder walls. Okay, we need these forces, right? Now next force is crank pin effort Ft and thrust force on crankshaft bearings. Okay, it means that now what we have to find out. Okay, so I think one of you asked me question, what is this Ft? That is a thrust force. Okay, that is also called as crank pin effort, Ft. So this force is nothing but the effort made by the crank. Okay, effort made by the crank. Okay, so what is effort now? It means that the torque generated by the crank. Okay, so you know when the crank is rotating, it is generating the torque. So how this torque will be calculated? Obviously on the basis of the crank pin effort or the thrust. Okay, you can see this thrust is over here, Ft. Thrust is over here. So therefore this Ft into R will be your torque. Okay, this is called as thrust because this is the perpendicular force to the crank. Okay, or this is also the linear velocity of crank. That's why it is called as Ft. That is thrust force. So thrust force is always perpendicular to the radius. Okay, to the crank. Okay, so therefore the torque generated by the this particular crank will be equal to Ft into R. Okay, that is the next part. Okay, but now we'll see what is this Ft, what is the formula of this Ft, and what is the formula for Fb. Okay, now Fq is going here. You can see Fq is going over here. So again Fq is divided into two. So one force is Ft and another is Fb. Okay, so It means that Ft is one component of Fq, Fb is another component of Fq. So this component will be cos component, this component will be sine component if you consider this angle theta plus phi. Okay, we'll see now. So you can see the force acting on the connecting rod Fq may be resolved into two components. One perpendicular to the crank, see, that is Ft along the crank, um, and other is along the crank, that is Fb. Okay, the component of Fq perpendicular to the crank is known as crank effort. Okay, Ft that we have seen here. Okay, so Ft will be equal to, you can see Fq is divided, so Ft will be equal to, it is a sine component, so sine theta plus phi. Okay, sine theta plus phi, and obviously Fb will be equal to Fq cos theta plus pi. Okay, so now we know the formula for Fq, so Fp upon cos pi, so Fp sine theta plus phi upon cos pi. This will be the equation for Ft, and next one will be your Fb. So you know, very simple again, because Fb is another component of Fq only, so instead of sine it will be cos only. Okay, so we'll get final equation Fp upon cos phi into cos theta plus pi. So a simple equation we'll get for Fb. Now this is the bearing force. So this force is along the crank and acting on the bearing. Okay, so this force is responsible for designing the bearing. Okay, you can see this force is responsible for designing the bearing, and this force is responsible for designing the crank. Why? Because some, you know, this Ft is nothing but the requirement. Required is Ft, okay, for a particular application. So we want this thrust force. Okay, we want this thrust force, or you can say the thrust effort by the crank. Okay, for some applications. So once you have this value, we can design the crank. Okay, designing crank means what? We're going to find out mass of crank, cross section of crank. Okay, so that way. So that is the importance of these forces. Now next force is crank effort or turning moment or torque on the crank. Okay, we can see now crank effort or turning moment, Ft into R. Okay, already I mentioned here, we discussed in the last slide that this Ft is perpendicular to this crank, so therefore this thrust into this R is nothing but the crank effort or the torque. So Ft into R, R is the radius of crank. Okay, so you can see here Ft into R. So Ft, already we have written the formula for Ft in the previous slide, Fp sine theta plus phi upon cos phi, now into R. So these are the forces which are there in the static and dynamic force analysis. So forces we have seen now. Okay, so this is your T finally we got. Okay, now on the basis of this formula we can design the various components of the single slider crank mechanism. Okay, now once you understand this analysis, now we can analyze any other kind of the mechanisms. Okay, such kind of mechanism. Let us say if suppose there is inversion of this 4-bar chain mechanism, oh sorry, single slider crank mechanism, some other components are there, again these forces will be go into the other components, again we can analyze. Okay, some components will go in some of the two problems and we'll stop our lecture. So already we have read this problem yesterday, and what is important line in this problem is that you can see here. Okay, so different pressure difference is given. Okay, difference between pressures, this is one important part. And second part is the angle. Okay, when, okay, you can read this sentence, when the crank has traveled 60 degree from IDC. So from where the crank is traveling? From IDC. So when the crank is traveling from IDC, Fi is negative. Okay, so we have to remember this term, right? So and the remaining things are very simple, you know. Say simply, you know, what is given in the problem, the radius is given that we can easily identify. Mr is given, that is mass of reciprocating parts, it is given as 250. Okay, simply mention over here the mass of reciprocating parts. Theta is given 60 degree. P1 minus P2, this value is directly given 0.35. Pressure difference directly given, no area, no force is given, so directly pressure difference is given. Length is given, diameter is given, RPM is given, already we have seen yesterday. So from N we can find out omega, so we got this. Okay, so then first of all, so try to remember, in every problem your first attempt is to find out piston effort. Okay, you know piston effort is nothing but net load minus or plus Fi and then frictional resistance or frictional force. If frictional force is not mentioned, neglect it. Okay. So, but we need at least two forces to find out piston effort, that is FL and FI. So first of all, we must find out FL and then FI. Okay. Then how to find out FL? In FL equation, again, we need to okay, have only pressure difference. And but FI, in FI, FI is equal to MRAR. MRAR, and AR equal to, so AR depends upon small n. Small n is nothing but your obligate ratio, okay, or length of connecting rod to radius. So first you must find out this FL and then N. Okay. So two things you must find out first. FL is simply pressure difference into area. Okay. Pressure difference into area. So remember this. We'll get this equation. Sorry, value. Then N equal to L by R. Okay. That ratio must find. Why? To find out F I. Okay. So Fi equal to Mr omega R omega square R cos theta upon N. Everything is known. N we have found here, that is 4. So from that we can find out Fi. Okay. And once you get Fi, then we can easily find out piston effort. You can see here piston effort equal to FL minus Fi because of this sentence. Okay. So FL, that is this 68730 minus this Fi 1936306. We got this. Okay. That is 49424 kilonewton. So that this is that simple. Then what is next asked in the problem? Pressure on slide, that is Fn. Fn we have to find out. Fn, the formula is simple. Fn equal to Fp tan phi. Fp is known. Fp is known. And what about this phi? We have to find out the value of phi. And we know the relation between between phi and theta. Sin phi equal to sin theta upon n. Okay, simply remember this equation. Okay, always remember this equation because this is very, very standard equation in single slider crank mechanism. There is always a relation between phi and theta. Phi is the angle of connecting rod at the piston, and theta is the angle of crank with IDC. Okay, so from this equation we can easily find out this phi. Put phi here, you will get Fn. Okay, so then second asked thrust in connecting rod, that is FQ. Okay, so yesterday I think somebody has this doubt, thrust means so FT or FQ, but when it is asked to find out in the connecting rod, okay, if it is in the connecting rod means what? Always FQ. Always think of FQ in the connecting rod. Okay, because FT is not in the connecting rod. FT is one of the components of force in the connecting rod. Okay, that is component of FQ. So when it is asked to find out in the connecting rod, it means that we have to find out FQ. So simple equation FQ equal to FP upon cos phi. That equation already we had seen. So everything is known here. Then FP is known, phi is known. Put the values, we'll get the answer. Okay, simply you can put the values this in the calculator, you will get the answer. Okay. So what I will recommend here is you again solve this problem on your notebook. Okay. So once you see the solution, and then try to solve by your own, and then cross check your answers. Okay, so that then you will get good practice of these problems. So then what next? That is tangential force on crank pin, that is FT. See, tangential, when this word comes, tangential force, tangential means what? Tangent to what? Tangent to crank. So tangent to crank means, see, this is the crank and this is the tangential force, that is FT. Your crank is here, your FQ is here. Okay, so FQ, this FT. FQ and FT are different. Okay, your FT may be like this also, and your FQ is maybe like this also. Okay, and this is crank, so this is perpendicular. So now this is FT that we have to find out, and we have the formula for FT. FT is the sine component of FQ, and what is the angle? Theta plus phi. Okay, so now again everything is known. FQ we have found. Okay, previously theta is known, phi is known. Put the values, we'll get the answers. Next, turning moment on the crankshaft. Movement. So when this movement word will come, it means that Newton meter, force into distance. So force into distance means what? Ft into R. This is that. T equal to Ft into R. Okay. So now Ft we have found over here, 48.28 kilonewton, and R is here. So we'll get the T in terms of kilonewton meter. We have put this kilonewton here. Okay, and this is meter. So you will get this answer then. So this is that simple. Okay, so if suppose this kind of problem comes in examination, you must be able to solve. And always remember, same kind of problems are being asked in the competitive examination. That's why actually I took this particular problem. Everything is covered in this problem of your dynamic force analysis, okay, of Slater mechanism. So that's why actually I have chosen this problem. Another kind of problem is there. So what we have seen in this problem, the piston is, now see this very carefully, piston is moving in the horizontal direction. Okay, so this is your connecting rod, this is the crank, and this is the line of action of piston. Okay, so bearing is here. So what is happening here when you are analyzing this case? So what is happening? Piston effort, if you see this piston effort is equal to fp equal to fl plus minus fi, and if fr is given, then minus fr. fp equal to fl minus fi or plus fi. But if suppose it is vertical engine, what will happen? If the engine is vertical, it means that the piston is moving up and down. Okay, this way. What will happen then? So this is your crank, and this, sorry, connecting rod, this is crank. And suppose piston is moving in this way. So there is small difference in vertical and horizontal engines. In horizontal engine, always remember fp is equal to fl plus minus fi. Okay, but in case of vertical engines, one more force adds. What is that? That is the weight of piston. Why weight of piston we are going to consider? Because it is acting towards the center of earth. Okay, so mg will be there. Okay, no ma but mg will be there. Okay, so this mg will be there in the equation. Okay, so we'll see the effect of this mg in the second problem. That is our last problem, and we'll solve this problem quickly. Okay, so you must have understood, if it is vertical engine, there is effect of mg. Okay, mg of piston is moving down. Okay, and as this is a reciprocating part, then there is a small difference in the equation of piston effort fp. Okay, so what is the difference, we'll see in the next problem. So read this problem very carefully. A vertical double acting steam engine. Okay, so vertical is word is given. Okay, so vertical double acting steam engine has a cylinder 300 mm diameter. So D is given, and 450 mm stroke is given. Stroke is always equal to diameter of crank. Okay, remember, stroke is always equal to diameter of crank. Runs at 200 rpm. N is given. N is given. The reciprocating parts has a mass. Okay, M is given. Mr. This Mr equal to 25 kg. And the piston rod is 50 mm diameter. So small a is given. Okay, remember, piston rod diameter means what? Small a. The connecting rod is 1.2 meter long. L is given. So L is given over here and R is given over here. R means what? 450 divided by 2, 225. Okay. So when the crank has turned through 125 degree from, so this is important, from TDC, top dead center, it means that in this equation your Fi will be deducted. Okay. Fi is negative because it is moving from TDC. Okay. And 125. 125 means what? It is less than 180. So it means that it is moving from TDC to BDC. Fi will be negative. Okay. The steam pressure above the piston is 30 kilonewton meter square. So this is P1 given. Okay, P1 equal to, because it is above the piston, and below the piston 1.5. Below means what? On crank side, that is P2. P2 is given over here. Calculate the effective turning moment on the crankshaft. Okay. So turning moment means what? Capital T is asked. Okay. Capital T is asked. Okay, now we are going to solve this problem step by step. So given D equal to this, okay, already we have seen L 450, R equal to L by 2, 225. Okay, already we have seen here 450 divided by 2, that is 225. So L by R ratio, you will get L by R means what? This L is 450 divided by this R means 225. I think you will get 2 L by R ratio. Okay, N is given, so we can find out this omega. Then mass of reciprocating parts is given, diameter is given. Okay, then sorry, L is this, length of connecting rod is given here, 1.2. So 1.2 divided by 0.225. Okay, So this is nothing to do with the small l. So this l is I think only stroke. Okay, l is only stroke, and l is the small l is length of connecting rod. Sorry. So theta is given 125. So see, P1 is given, P2 is given. So convert in terms of meter square. Only multiply by 10 raised to 3. Okay. So first of all, find out A1 because we need that to find out FL. Okay. Small a, and you can find out FL. You know FL equal to P1A, pressure 1, A1 minus pressure 2, and difference. Already we have seen in the first, I think second or third slide. Okay. P1 A1 minus P2. This is A2 only, but A2 equal to A minus A, right? तुम्ही बघितलंच असाल. Piston, and this is connecting rod. So you know this is this is A1, this enter is A1, and this is small a. So this A2 equal to this area, this and this area equal to complete minus small a. Okay, so this is at FL. So we can find out this FL then, value of FL. Only put the values, everything is known now. Just put, you will get 2018 Newton. So this is value of FL. Okay, once you get FL, what will you calculate then? FP. Okay, but now in FV, what is the equation? You can see. Okay, just before that, N we have found 5.33. Then F, okay, we need Fi also to find out FB. Fi equal to another simple formula, you know, MR omega square R. So this is very standard formula. Already we have seen that. Put the values because everything is known now. Omega is known, R is known, MR, theta, and N is also known. We will get this value Fi. Fi we are going to get this. Okay, 14,172 Newton. So okay, so difference is that here we know that for a vertical engine, net force on the piston or piston effort. Okay, already we discussed in the last slide or last problem what is added over here. Okay, you can see FP equal to FL minus FI. This part is now added. Why added? Because the piston is moving downward. Okay, so this force, you can see this force is already there, FP. Okay, this force is already there, FP, and in addition to that, weight is also acting, mg. Weight is also acting, so therefore mg is added. Okay, mg means what? Mr, mass of reciprocating part into gravitational force or gravitational acceleration. Okay, so mr into g. Only this is difference. Otherwise, the problem is same. Okay, problem or the solution for the remaining part is same as it of previous problem. Okay, so simply put the values there then. Okay, so FL is known, FI is also known, MRG is also known. So we'll get this FP, and once we find out this FP, then we'll go further to find out FT, then capital T. Okay, so now we'll find out phi from this simple equation, sin phi equal to sin theta upon n. We'll get the value of phi.